You're listening to the StudioPTBO podcast, where we talk all things marketing to help you build and grow your business online. Welcome to the latest episode. Welcome to the StudioPTBO podcast. We are back, and we're back at it again. And I got Neil over here, and to my right, who do I have, Neil?
You have our new business developer, Jenish, is in the house. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much.
Amazing for you to be here today on such short notice. I think you're in the other room, and I said, hey, man, do you want to come in this room and be on our podcast? And you were like, yeah. And you said, do you look good? And I said, you look like GQ. This is a GQ day for you.
And then if we want to be real, like we were going to chat about Facebook ads, but then Neil's like, I don't know anything about Facebook ads. We can't talk about that. That's your department.
Yeah, we can talk TikTok ads.
TikTok ads.
Well, welcome, Jenish, to the show. This is awesome.
So
we're really happy to have you on board. Jenish hails from the huge town of Havelock, Ontario.
Oh, Norwood.
Norwood.
Yeah.
Norwood, close enough.
Smaller.
So what's
like-
what's Norwood like? I mean, I have been there a few times, but they do have quite a vibrant downtown there.
Yeah, it's a nice place, nice people. You know, small town. It's beautiful.
Small town people are charming, aren't they?
Oh yeah, really friendly. You know, if you break down or just park, everyone's gonna stop and say like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. So what's your story? Like, how did you land here? Like, give us a bit of your backstory. Like, you lived in the mountains in another country, in a far off country,
Way up in the mountains with
for
the goats.
years, and raised goats and helped save a lot of souls. So tell us a little bit about your story and your journey there. It's pretty fascinating.
I worked for our drug and alcohol rehab center for a long time. I got picked up as a student because I spoke the languages, so I was translating for a guy. And when the foreigners got kicked out, basically, like, you know, they said, "Oh, this guy knows all the meetings, all the stuff that goes on. You know, why don't we just make him the director?" So I ran that program for a long time, and after a while, I got burnt out. You know, and rehab centers, like, the success rate is not amazing.
Yeah.
And all these people were, like, you know, leaving and dying and overdosing.
Where
and
are we
it's
here?
just,
What
like,
country?
In
Like
Kyrgyzstan, Central
Kyrgyzstan.
Asia. Yeah.
Okay. Which is where? Let's give
which
people
is
a
right next to Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, China, and, you know, Mother Russia's over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, close. And and then like I got married to a Canadian, you know,
Awesome.
from Norwood, and she was volunteering with the orphanages, and her kids were aging out of the orphanages, and she was like, you know, kind of freaking out, like, you know, these kids are going nowhere.
Basically
Most of them
homeless,
are, they're homeless. They're like institutionalized. They don't know how to boil eggs. You know, like they basically are given a sack of potatoes, $50. You know, good luck.
Have at it. Yeah.
Yeah, and these kids are failing, right? You know, most of them end up in sex slaves, as like, you know, as in sex traffic, or like slaves. You know, they don't get paid. Some of them have, like, you know, they're developmentally delayed, or they have, like, you know, fetal alcohol syndrome. So they have basically no logic.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go to work for someone, obviously they're not getting paid, and then they screw up a lot. So they get beat up a lot. So my wife was like, we should do something about it. And I said, you know, we could, like, buy a house, you know, start a farm, teach them farming.
Wow.
I don't think it's my original idea. I was in a meeting and somebody came up with the idea, but she never actually, like,
You executed on it.
Made it like, she never made it happen. Like, you know, because, you know, her plans were grandiose. She wanted to raise like thousands of dollars and, like, you know, started.
How many
right?
people did you take on the farm? How many people do you employ there?
Oh, right now I don't know. Like, you know,
Well,
kids.
when you were there, though.
We started, like, you know, with one house. We got married. We couldn't take anything home, so we told people, don't buy us toasters because we only get one, like, you know, suitcase
Right.
for our clothes. That's it. Give us money. So people give us money. So we spent this money and bought this one house. In Kyrgyzstan, you can buy a whole house for $7,000. Wow. Cash, with like almost an acre. We built a barn. And and then we started taking in kids. We hired a guy that was, like, you know, my ex-student employee from Teen Challenge.
Okay.
That's the rehab center. And he basically, like, you know, was growing things. He was teaching kids how to do it. A bunch of other people jumped in, you know.
Amazing.
My father-in-law jumped in, like, started raising money. Like,
It's
people.
like a startup you were on.
Yeah, like,
were
you know,
this
started super
entrepreneur.
lean. You
Yeah.
know, like we got a bunch of rabbits, because rabbits multiply like crazy.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we had 7, and then we had 200, and then but it was kind of like not great killing all these fluffy animals, So we had to switch our focus somewhere like that, where we don't have to kill cute animals and stuff. And we started like just farming, kind of like built a greenhouse so we could keep the kids busy in the.
Kudos to
and
you.
people just like flooded in. People in general, for the most part, they want to be good and they want to give towards good causes and stuff. So it grew from 1 house to 5 houses, and then this lady gave us money for a mountain ranch. So we have a mountain ranch up in the mountains, beautiful place, like absolutely gorgeous. You can ride horses for weeks, basically, into the mountains.
Amazing what you started. So where are you at now? So you've left there, but it's still running. Your
It's
farm.
still running.
And
My
employing,
father-in-law
how many
is,
people live there? Like
running it.
20 kids? Like
They come and go. Like for
it's
example,
transient,
like a kid finishes at 17. He's not allowed to work till 18, so he can wait it out at our place. We teach him how to cook. We teach him how to mend his clothes. We teach him all the like regular things, adulting, hashtag adulting. And
That's a hashtag.
yeah, and we basically teach him like how to look after the money. We get them a bank account.
Amazing, man.
And then all that stuff.
Like just unreal. I remember hearing Jenish talk about this for the first time, and just like being like, "What? Like,
Are you
totally
kidding me? It
different.
was like, it wasn't. It was surreal. It's like it's just a real
And it
story
puts
that
things
you
into
did.
perspective
It does.
about like even like your demeanor and how you like work and how you treat people, and it's like I think that so much goes into it. I remember when we did your interview, you and I had already met. We got connected at like an event back in December, and we went for coffee, and then we were just talking about like how do we do business together? How do we like? And then we posted for the business developer position, and you jumped on it right away. We brought you in, and immediately like Neil and Nora were both like, "Oh my goodness, this guy!"
Yeah, we were blown
just
away.
Has perspective.
Well, we're always looking for life experience. We don't realize everyone doesn't have that, but boy, do you! And it's really has provided you perspective on life, and you've seen it all. I mean, you've seen the worst in people.
Yeah.
But you took the worst in people and made the best out of it,
pretty cool.
and it's a great outlook on life and tremendous empathy for people. You have a great sense of humor. So you have all the intangibles, sort of again, that Cody and I are looking for in a person and building a culture, right? So, so what does it mean for you to have gone from there to here you are sitting on a podcast with us now at StudioPTBO, living in Peterborough area? What does this mean to you? What does this community mean to you?
Yeah, so basically, like how I ended up in Canada is we got pregnant and we started seeing doctors, and doctors were weird in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like kind of scary because and my wife had a thing where like her friend had a baby, and like they didn't do anything about the baby. Was overdue, and they had a stillborn. It was a horrible, traumatic situation, and we basically said like let's just have the baby in Canada. We have the best doctors here. Why don't we do it? And then while I was here, I decided like I'm gonna go for my permanent residence card because like getting a visa is really hard to Canada. Contrary to popular belief, like you absolutely have to provide everything, and not always will you get it. So I got the visa, and I said like let's get it done, and then I'll be done. And then it took like a year and a half. So I was just like here in Canada for a year and a half. Meanwhile, my father-in-law hired somebody that was smarter and better looking than me.
Not possible.
Oh, it is.
Come on, Jenny.
I'll tell you what, this guy is a model, and he's smart. And he was like, I'm like, might as well just stay here. So I got my work permit. I went for a sales job. I loved it. They made me in charge of like Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome.
And I was posting things, and I was getting all this engagement, talking to people, and it got me interested in social media in general. So I started listening to podcasts. I started reading books, and I was like, "This is awesome! I want to get into this." And I was working with Junior Achievement, and I asked our social media lady, Julie. I was like, "Hey, I want to learn more. I want more."
Who do
and
I
she
go
said,
to?
"Yeah." She said, "Like, if you need anything social media, it's gonna be Cody."
She said Neil Morton, right?
She
Thanks,
said,
Jen.
You have to talk
No,
to
Jen's
Cody.
awesome.
And basically, like, she introduced me at this really loud meeting, and I was like, "Hey, man, can I meet you? Like, I'll buy you coffee, please." Like,
awesome.
Yeah, and then we ended up like,
Coffees are game changers, aren't they?
Yeah, you can buy mentorship with a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
which
it's pretty
which
cheap.
Worked out
It's pretty
perfect
cheap
for me.
mentorship. Yeah,
yeah, and I got a job out of it too.
I do, but seriously, I do preach that all the
The
time.
investment.
This doesn't happen. Anyone listening to this doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Like this is.
Cody, can I take you for coffee after this, buddy?
No.
Yeah, but it does work, networking, right? And I
totally
preach
worth
that to
it.
you.
It does,
Network your ass off, and Jenish, to his credit, really did
But-
do that and does do that.
And you know, I want to talk about that really quickly because I want people to understand the context of how this happened. I met Jenish in person at a networking event. So that really broke the barriers immediately for me because we had that quick, you know, conversation. It wasn't like you didn't email me. It's like serendipity happened and we crossed paths and we had the opportunity to really connect on a one-to-one level. And then you made the ask.
Yeah.
You know, like again, like you made the ask in person. I think it's super powerful when you're starting out, and this is what I did very early on. Is I went to as many networking events as I possibly could, and met as many people as I possibly could. And I said this to you probably in our first meeting. I'm like, you need to get around as many people as you possibly can. You need to build your tribe. You need to build your network.
Totally.
You need to do it face to face because you have a better opportunity when you do it face to face to make the ask. Hey, can I take you for a cup of coffee? I think there's a way to do it, and I think you do it very well. And I think that you did it very well. So I really want to commend both of you for that. Is there's a difference between trying to get that coffee via email, because it's possible, but you know people are busy.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
if you can make the ask face to face, very different.
Right. So what's your take on that and networking? What has that meant to you here in Peterborough and the Kawarthas?
Yeah, well, networking comes naturally to me because we're very tribal back home, you know, and everyone they don't do coffee. They started doing coffee now, but it's mostly tea. Come in and have tea with me.
Cool.
Like it's like a normal thing for us to ask someone to have tea with
Okay.
me.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's because you know like everyone has to be connected, and the more people you know, the more likely are going to be successful with whatever. Because if it wasn't for the community, this farm idea wouldn't have happened at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, if all
But it
these
is still finding your peeps, right? Not everyone is necessarily going to
yeah,
be
you
on
have
the
to
same-
weed through them. I met Cody and I knew he's smarter than me, and I need to cling on to this guy and learn something from him. And I was like, hey, please, I'll buy you coffee. Let's meet up. So that kind of thing. Like if somebody's an idiot, you obviously don't want to waste your time with them. Like you just kind of say hey, how you doing? No, have a great day, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, meeting people, Peterborough, people are amazing. For example, I met Pat McCauley through you
Amazing
guys.
guy.
The guy is like a friggin' spring of wisdom.
Yeah.
This guy is just absolutely
good dude.
amazing.
Yeah,
He's
really good dude.
so amazing, smart. And
So that's another example. Jenish just reached out to Pat and I just want to go for coffee. So there's no real reason to. He just wants to learn about his story and listen to it and ask him questions and pick up tidbits. And
yeah, I have coffees with another amazing person, Anne Onderchin. If you're listening, you're amazing.
What's the name
She's
again so we can hear?
Anne Onderchin.
Okay.
She's absolutely beautifully smart, wise lady.
What's her story? I'm
It's,
not sure. Or
where's she at? She's at Peterborough Regional Hospital.
Okay.
She's a fund developer,
Okay.
and she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. So,
So you're very curious by nature too, which I think not everyone's born that way, but you have to learn to be that way. That if you're going to take someone out for coffee, make sure that you ask questions and you don't just
Ask good questions too. Come prepared.
come prepared. Good point.
Set the intention of you know, when I sit down with when I started really diving deep into real estate, I asked some key players in the industry in real estate. I asked them for coffee to understand the market a bit better. But I set key intentions for, this is what I'm really looking to accomplish in this meeting. I really want more knowledge because I know you have the knowledge. I want you to embed that knowledge into my head.
Yeah, good for you. That's a good point to have objectives and not just show up cold and ask questions, but have creep them in a healthy way. And
Yeah,
know their
absolutely.
backstory.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
We call it all the time whenever, and it's good because Jenish is a business developer and he's learning, kind of our sales process to assess whether a client might be a fit for us. And a lot of what we do when we're doing our 2-call sales process is pre-call research
Yeah.
to better understand walking into that initial meeting or that initial
Preparation.
preparation. I want to know a little bit about them.
And nobody's gonna complain hey, you looked me up. They're gonna actually appreciate it.
I always appreciate it. I always find
you're
it flattering.
doing your due
Your
diligence.
backstory,
Yeah. I expect it, and if it doesn't happen, I'm not insulted, but I'm like, oh, you didn't. And then I'll be honest with them. If they're younger, I'll be like, you should have done more research.
Especially
you came in too cool. Yeah, 100%.
Like, we ask all the time whenever we're doing an interview, is like, so what do you know about us? And if you say not much, like for me, that's like a
red
knock
flag.
on the door, red flag.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
because especially with us, because we put out so much content.
Yeah, how can you not see what we're doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
like right now, filming this podcast is going to be leveraged everywhere, right?
Yeah.
What do you do for us? What does that look like? I know you just started recently, but take us through like what does new biz developer look like?
So I'm in charge of a whole niche, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Like English
Vertical?
is my
Vertical.
third language. Yeah, like
That's okay.
I'm looking after dental practices.
Okay,
So I'm gonna reach out to dental practices and offer them our services
awesome.
and tell them how amazing we are, because we are amazing and we do amazing things. And I want everyone to know, like, hey, work with us and we're gonna grow your business.
That's amazing. So this vertical you're in, dentist. So what was the thinking there?
Yeah, the biggest thing with us is like, I'm really focused on real estate teams, and like we have case studies with dental practices, whether it be, Facebook ads, whether it be websites, whether it be video content creation. We have case studies. So it's like, let's really focus and narrow in on a few vertical markets. People obviously know me, they know that I love working with real estate teams.
You have a real passion for that, real interest in that.
Super passionate because I love, like, for us, for real estate, for me, and like you're also like, he's now doing some real estate
Starting
stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So the reason I love working with real estate teams, and the reason that we've gone so embedded into real estate teams, is because they're super passionate about what they do. Like, they're super passionate. All of our real estate clients that we worked with, like,
they're really entrepreneurial too.
Yeah, they're super entrepreneurial, and they want to grow, and they're hungry, and they always want more. And even if, like, the biggest thing whenever I chat with real estate teams or even real estate agents, there's so many out there that are saying, like, I'm busy, like I'm busy right now, but I want to go to the next level. And I find that happens a lot within this industry, within the real estate industry. It's like, I'm making a lot of money this year, but I want to go to the next level.
Totally.
More fulfillment for my family, more fulfillment for myself, be able to have the opportunity to give back more contribution, things that we talk about a whole lot. And that's like, those vertical markets. And I find dental practices are very similar that way. A lot of dental practices that we worked with are very obviously entrepreneurial.
Yeah, totally. And if any happen to be listening to this podcast, reach out to Jenish. Your
Jenish
email,
at StudioPTBO.
Jenish at StudioPTBO.com. Jenish. He's the original OG. Jenish OG.
The OG
is his nickname.
The OG, but with a J.
How many languages can you speak?
So I can I speak Russian fluently. I speak English, obviously, and then Kyrgyz is a Turkish, kind of Turkic language. So I can speak Kazakh and Uzbek because they're close enough. And I understand. I can explain myself. So it's like
amazing, man. So four languages.
5.
Five. Sorry,
hilarious?
I sold you short there.
I
could barely speak English.
Jenish told me the other day about this. He was doing some prospecting and he came across like a Russian dentist. So he sent the message in Russian.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, that's so cool. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
So
we
could reach out to Russian-speaking dentists.
Any Russian-speaking real estate teams or real estate agents that are looking for lead generation.
That's a great asset that you have. So tell me, like, we got to wrap up soon, but sort of what perspective do you have on the world now from where you've been to what you're here? You always seem just so grateful to be here and be Canadian and be living in this area and now be working with us. And what does where you're at this moment in time mean to you right now?
I kind of feel like Canadians get stuck in a rut of complaining. Canada is a beautiful country, amazing people. Doctors are amazing. Shout out to all the doctors. So beautiful. Cops, they don't ever bother you. In Kyrgyzstan, you're always getting pulled over for nothing and having to pay like bribes or whatever. Yeah, we're just yesterday we had another attempt at revolution. That doesn't happen here. People with rocks throwing at police. It's a beautiful country. If you want to get out of this rut of negativity, just go travel somewhere and see how other countries are doing. You're gonna be thankful. And I think if you come with positive attitude, then everything's gonna look better and feel better.
Perspective, man.
Yeah, I
Glass
agree.
half full.
Yeah, totally, man. And again, we're so stoked to have you as part of the team. You feel like you've been here forever.
I know, it's amazing.
You and Jenishs are recent additions, and Riley. And it feels like you guys have been with us forever. And I think, again, when you sort of find your peeps, they just become part of your fam jam quickly, right? Like,
we were chatting about this, I think, on the last podcast about like literally looking at the team and how it's doubled over the last like 6 months. Like, you know, our like the video and the Facebook ad team.
Yeah.
And it's doubled with good people that are passionate about growth. Like you said something to me that really stuck to me. Like you said to me the other day, and I sent this to these guys about how you feel like this is your business and you want it to grow. You know, it's like you really look for people like that, and you know we're really grateful to have you on the team, and we're excited to grow alongside of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you crushed this podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
With
Thank you so
2
much.
minutes warning.
Thank you.
Just how we do
That's
things
how
here
we
once
do
in a while.
We're trying to plan things more, and that's why Jenishs behind the camera
Producer
is now
Jenishs.
the producer.
Producer Jenishs.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay.
But yeah, and thank you so much for tuning into the Studio PTBO podcast. If you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, a real estate team, a dental practice, I don't care what you are. If you're in a lead generation space, you're going to want to join the Studio PTBO Marketing Hacks group. We give tons of valuable insight. We actually just posted an article the other day about 7 Facebook ad tips that'll help you grow and scale your business in the online space. And if you're just looking for a community of people that are really looking to grow and passionate about what they do, you definitely want to join the Studio PTBO Marketing Hacks group. It is in the comments below. We really look forward to chatting with you all soon, seeing you inside of the Studio PTBO Marketing Hacks group. Thank you once again for tuning into the Studio PTBO podcast. We will see you soon.